Welcome to Glove Talk, your weekly news and boxing. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. With that said, let's get in the news. Okay, so we had some fantastic fights over the weekend, and the cherry on top of all of it was that we got a statement from Deontay Wilder accusing Tyson Fury of cheating in both their fights. So I'm going to talk about that and then give you guys my opinion on it all. Okay, so in the video that he created that was about 2 minutes long, if you want to check it out, it's on all of his social media for you to look at. He first starts off with the first fight making claims that Tyson Fury's hand was not in the correct portion of the glove, basically that his team was pulling on it so that he'd be on a lower area where there was less padding. On top of that, he also claimed that there was padding taken out of Tyson Fury's glove. This is stuff we've heard before. It's your classic Glovegate that we heard other people kind of talking about. Now, what's interesting is what the new claims are for the rematch. And in that part of the video, he claims that Tyson Fury had a foreign object in his glove. In particular, he talks about an egg weight because that was the shape that apparently the dent left in his head had, and he feels as though that was not done naturally by Tyson Fury's fists. He then goes on to complain basically about Kenny Bayless, the ref, and he threw Mark Breland under the bus. After this all got done, he even came out and said that he thought that someone on his team had spiked his water with muscle relaxer. So let's break down all of the things we've heard Deontay Wilder say and his team say for both fights as excuses or for reasons that they feel as though he should have won but didn't. In the first fight, it was that Tyson Fury's hand was not in the proper area of the glove. Padding was removed from the glove. And even in the first fight, if you remember, Deontay Wilder claims that the 10 count for Fury at the end of that fight was too slow and allowed Fury to get up. In the second fight, he claimed initially that the suit was too heavy for the ring walk. It was 40 pounds and it was too heavy and his legs were weak. He now is claiming that there was a foreign object in Fury's glove. He then complains about Kenny Bayless, the ref, and then he throws Mark Breland under the bus, claiming he's a traitor for throwing in the towel and that he possibly spiked Deontay Wilder's water in the corner with muscle relaxer. So now I'm going to tell you what I think of all of this. And in my opinion, could some of this possibly be true? Yes, it absolutely could, because this is boxing and we have seen people with padding removed from gloves. We have seen people with loaded gloves, and we have seen people spike water in the corner before. Now, granted, that was, I believe, Panama Lewis that did that, and that was to enhance his fighter, not slow down his fighter. But still, we've seen all of these things happen. But do I think that's the likely reason that these fights were the way they were, especially the second one? Let's focus a little bit more on that, because I think we've already had a plenty of conversation about the initial fight. And if you want my opinion about that, I have a little video up here I'll show you, and you can check that out. It's called, just basic Glovegate stuff. So with the second fight, I would look at this a little bit more in terms of, there's a term or a theory used that's called Occam's razor. And Occam's razor is this principle that basically boils down to the simplest explanation is usually the right one. And it's often used by detectives and, murder cases and to figure out who the suspect is and why they did what they did. If you look at that from that kind of sense, what is most likely the simplest answer for the reason Tyson Fury blew out Deontay Wilder in their second fight? Well, number one, Wilder basically did the same thing he did in the first fight. Didn't really change anything. Didn't change camp. Came in a little bit heavier. Fury, on the other hand, had now been back in the sport for about 2 years. Yeah. In the first fight, Fury took off 150 pounds and was trying to get in shape, had a rookie trainer. In the second fight, he had now had multiple camps, had gotten bigger and stronger. He also got a more seasoned trainer in camp for the second fight. He came in almost 20 pounds heavier. So the simplest answer to me for all of this is that Fury just got back in the groove, got stronger, and got a better trainer in camp. That's it. It's really simple. And so for me, all these other things, it's just, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, could it be possible? Sure. Do I think it is? No, not at all. So where do we go from here? In my opinion, I blame the people in Wilder's camp that are allowing this to continue like this and that are fueling this, to be honest with you. It's their fault. They should be there for him to move on and prepare for his next fight, because he's now putting a suit against Fury for the trilogy fight. He's probably not going to win it because the rematch clause for that fight has already expired. It has. So where do you go if you're Wilder from here? To me, you look for someone in the top 10 to fight and make some money. That's the best you can do. And if I'm going to pick anyone in the top 10, I would either pick the loser of the White and Povetkin fight, or I would fight Andy Ruiz Jr. and I would do it on Cinco de Mayo. Do it in Mexico even. The amount of money and buzz for that fight would be huge. You have to move on because you're not getting the trilogy fight. You're looking foolish and you need to quit with this nonsense because mentally it's eating you up inside and it's doing no good for you. You could be making money, you could be making deals, you could be moving on, and instead you're sitting here focusing on something that you can't prove, and everyone thinks is a laughing, makes you look like a laughing stock right now of the heavyweight division. So I don't understand this. I'm really bummed out that this is what we hear from Wilder, since we haven't heard anything from him in a while. I'm not the biggest Wilder fanboy, but I had some respect for the guy. Now it's just like zero. And so with that, that's my thoughts on everything. Let me know yours down in the comments below, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.